Today's video is brought to you by First Form. More on them here in a minute, but if you want some more information, then you can find that in the pinned comment down below, and it tells them that I sent you. Let's hop into the video. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. Thank you for tuning in, and happy Saturday, everyone. Today we have some news out of the White House. President Trump signed an executive order named Protecting Second Amendment Rights. And there's some good stuff in here, but there's also a little bit of caution that I wanted to put in there because I know that there are some members of the administration that watch this channel, and I wanted to have a discussion with you guys today, them, and in the comments below about strategery on what we should do with this sort of stuff. So let's just hop right into it and read what the thing says. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1, Purpose. The Second Amendment is an indispensable safeguard of security and liberty. It has preserved the right of the American people to protect ourselves, our families, and our freedom since the founding of our great nation. Because it is foundational to maintaining all other rights held by Americans, the right to keep and bear arms must not be infringed. That's a pretty good start, Mr. President. Let's continue. Section 2, Plan of Action. Within 30 days of the date of this order, the Attorney General shall examine all orders, regulations, guidance, plans, international agreements, and other actions of executive departments and agencies to assess any ongoing infringements on the Second Amendment rights of our citizens, and present a proposed plan of action to the President through the Domestic Policy Advisor to protect the Second Amendment rights of all Americans. In developing such a proposed plan of action, the Attorney General shall review at a minimum, subsection 1, all presidential and agency actions from January 2021 through January 2025 that purport to promote safety but may have impinged on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. So for those of you that are hard at mathing, that's the entire Biden administration. Subsection 2, rules promulgated by the Department of Justice, including the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives from January 2021 through January 2025, pertaining to firearms and or federal firearms licensees. Subsection 3, agencies' plans, orders, and actions regarding the so-called enhanced regulatory enforcement policy pertaining to firearms and or federal firearms licensees. Subsection 4, reports and related documents issued by the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. 5, positions taken by the United States in any and all ongoing potential litigation that affects or could affect the ability of Americans to exercise their Second Amendment rights. 6, agencies' classifications of firearms and ammunition. And 7, the processing of applications to make, manufacture, transfer, or export firearms. Section 3, Implementation. Upon submission of the proposed plan of action described in Section 2 of this order, the Attorney General shall work with the Domestic Policy Advisor to finalize the plan of action and establish a process for implementation. And then Section 4 goes into the disclaimers. So to translate, although I would say that this is well into the realm of regular person speak, everything that has touched firearms for the last 4 years, whether it was from the White House Office of Gun Control or whether it was rulemaking, litigation, executive order, whatever it is, we're going to take that thing, we're going to stick it under a microscope, and we're going to see if it negatively impacts the American citizen's ability to exercise the Second Amendment right. That is a fantastic initiative. I am here for it. Good job, Mr. President. Now, there are a few things I want to say as far as caution are concerned. It mentions litigation in here. I hope that the assessment of ongoing litigation means that we are not just going to throw everything out, because there are some of those cases that, if given an honest assessment, we can clearly see where they're going. They're going to the Supreme Court, and the government is going to lose those cases. I would hope that in that assessment, those cases are allowed to go to the Supreme Court, and they are allowed the government to lose and lose big, because that is precedent setting. So all of the fighting that we have done over the course of the last several years to get to where we are in the courts, on the precipice of making a big, big pee-pee slap on some of these executive agencies and future legislative efforts to impact the Second Amendment rights of American citizens. Those cases, especially ones that are currently bound up in court with injunctions, like the pistol brace rule, for instance, that is currently not doing anything right now. It's just waiting for review. Those things that are currently being litigated that are likely going to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to say, hey, you can't do that. You have way outstepped your bounds, and then also give them an opportunity to opine on things like, are short barrel rifles able to be even regulated whatsoever? Things like that should be allowed to happen. And given that you are now the government, you can even throw those cases. And let's say it goes to the Supreme Court and the rule ends up being upheld by the Supreme Court by some kind of crazy twist of fate. Then you can just rescind the rule after the case is over. Oh, well, they didn't rule in favor of the citizens of the United States. We'll just rescind the rule now. You see what I'm saying? So there is a opportunity here for this administration to not only eliminate several problems that have been created by the past administration and previous administrations before them, but also set major precedent that ultimately hamstrings the ability of our legislators to infringe on our rights as well by binding Supreme Court precedent. Today's video is brought to you by First Form. Now, it's always a question if you're out there buying fitness or health products, whatever it is, nutrition, protein sources, whatever it is, whether you're giving your money to a woke corporation somewhere. Well, First Form is a pro-freedom supplement company, and whether you're looking for a protein source, a bump of caffeine, some vitamins, whatever it is, they are a one-stop shop for that, and I am proud to have them as a major sponsor of the channel here. They helped me stay alive at SHOT Show last week, and I thank them very much for supporting the mission here at the VSO Gun Channel. Go check them out. Tell them that I sent you, and it helps out when you do. And in closing today, I have a short list here of things that didn't necessarily happen within the last 4 years, but I think should be things that are roped in on this thing for an assessment. And again, this is just like 2 minutes to jot this list down. If I miss something, then make sure that you leave a comment in the comment section down below, because I know that there are people in decision-making positions that not only watch this video, but will be browsing the comments down below. So we have an opportunity to impact some things here. So make sure you do that, and of course, send it out so that all of your friends can do the same. The first thing, Mr. President, get out your pardon pen. And we have 2 individuals that are currently sitting in federal prison because they drew a drawing on a piece of sheet metal. In fact, the government even took that thing that they were selling and tried to cut it out and put it into a functional firearm, and all it did was make the gun malfunction. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Go ahead, pardon them, get them out of there, right? But then the next thing that I think should be really assessed is there are a litany of infringements that hail from 922. There's lots of different subsections there that will require a full analysis, but basically Congress said do these things, and then the agencies have interpreted what those things actually mean, and they've taken it way too far. A really good example would be like the Obama 7 and 6 ban. Speaking of Obama, we have the 41F rule. That one, get it out of here. Just rescind it. Absolutely ridiculous, and it places an undue burden on people who are trying to acquire their constitutionally protected, God-given inalienable right to a hearing protection device that keeps them from accruing cumulative hearing loss. And then the other thing that I would really like the administration to look at is we can't get rid of excise tax because of the that is codified by Congress. However, what I think could happen is the excise tax, for those of you who are not familiar, is 10% on handguns and 11% on long guns. So that is cost that is directly passed on to you, the consumer. I think that there should be an exemption in there for defensive firearms. The whole premise is that it's there to help with the hunting lands, the federal lands that are there for sportsmen. Well, I think that the sportsmen should pay for that. I think there's an opportunity there where we can use the executive power to actually positively impact something right there and save Americans a little bit of money, because the vast majority of weapons will never be used for hunting. There's no reason that if you're purchasing a Glock 19 for personal protection that you need to pay an additional 10% so somebody can go shoot a deer somewhere. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I think this is a move in the right direction as long as it is done correctly. There are obviously lots of things that we can just absolutely just throw out, right? Like, get it out of here. Don't ever come back to it. Absolutely. But there are some other things that we should allow to run their course, because they could ultimately spell good things for future generations and future fights that we as Second Amendment advocates are going to have to fight after this administration runs its course. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you on another video here at the VSO Gun Channel.